Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TalkBGKY podcast, the official podcast of the City of Bowling Green. My name is Talia Butler. I am Downtown Development Coordinator for the City of Bowling Green, and we are talking about the 2025 Duncan Hines Days events coming up very soon. Joining me is Mr. Cameron Levis. Cameron, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. My name is Cameron Levis. I'm the Recreation Division Manager for the City of Bowling Green Parks and Recreation.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Cameron's played a huge role in the Recreation Committee side, planning a ton of these events for the week. This is year 3 for Duncan Hines Days, kind of the revival of the longtime Bowling Green tradition. It's coming up June 1st through the 8th, and we've got over a dozen events throughout that entire week, all over Bowling Green and Warren County. Last year, we had over 17,000 people joining us across the week for year 2, and they were from at least 13 states that we could track. Pretty cool stuff, and we are hoping that we can provide even more great fun for our community through all of these events and bring in some visitors as well. So, Cameron, I thought we might just jump right into it and go give the timeline and rundown of all of the cool stuff coming for year 3. How's that sound?
Sure. Yeah, no, there's, like you said, tons of fun playing for the week. So we're excited.
Before we hit it really quick, for those of you all who are listening and don't know, Duncan Hines was a real guy from Bowling Green. Betty Crocker was made up. She does not exist, but our pal Duncan was real. He was born in Bowling Green in 1880, and he became the most trusted name in household food and travel throughout the 1930s, 40s, and 50s when the road trip was invented, and we celebrate his legacy of good food and good fun throughout the entire week of Duncan Hines. And in the spirit of nostalgia and thinking about the old road tripping days when the automobile was new, Cameron is going to tell us about a brand new event to kind of start the week for us coming up Sunday, June the 1st. What is this new thing?
Yeah, so we're bringing something new to Duncan Hines this year. You know, it's been a goal of ours, I think, since the beginning a few years ago to, you know, try to bring to life the heart of our city, which of course is Fountain Square Park. You know, everybody, you know, loves being in downtown Bowling Green, being in Fountain Square throughout the entire year. It truly is I think the beacon of our community. It's where everything starts and just truly an incredible place to be. And we really want to bring it to life for Duncan Hines Days. Kind of bring things back to that nostalgic summer, you know, spending time in downtown, your traditional food vendors and bubbles and sidewalk chalk, just that classic Americana feel is really what we're trying to go for. And so we're going to throw a nostalgic summer block party. It's just going to be a chance for the community to come and hang out in Fountain Square. We'll have live music. Like I said, some of those classic, simple summer activities like bubbles and sidewalk chalk that people can, you know, just have fun participating in. And then we'll have your classic food vendors like hot dog carts and funnel cakes and all those things that just make you think summer, your classic summer vacation, if you will. And that's kind of what we want to try to bring to life in Fountain Square. And so we're excited to kind of kick off the week with that event and just prepare people for a week of fun with Duncan Hines Days.
The Fountain Square feel is so historic and charming, and a little bit of some inspiration for this, not only the Americana Duncan piece, but there is a specific piece of art by Misha Ambrosia that is a concert in the park at Fountain Square.
Yep.
It feels like an old-timey, good old-fashioned Sunday afternoon where you bring your lawn chair, you sit in the park, and you listen to live music, and you have some of those old-timey, like carnival style concessions.
That's right. Yeah.
That is the vision.
You just feel good about being in Fountain Square. You know, it's simple. You know, it's a simple entertainment, if you will, to just exist in a space that is so beautiful and such a staple in our community. And I think as we talk about all these events, you know, I think that's one of the goals with not just Duncan Hines Days, but, you know, really what we do as a whole with the city is taking our spaces that we have, you know, our parks and everything across our city and just bringing them to life, you know, making them an enjoyable place to be for the people that live here. But then, you know, we want them to be a destination too. And so recreation is such a critical piece of that, whether it's passive or active. And we'll, of course, talk about some of those more active events and active activities. But this block party is kind of a mix of both. You know, I mean, it's find your own enjoyment, you know, at this summer, a nostalgic block party in Fountain Square, whether that's, like you said, just sitting in a lawn chair and enjoying live music or playing with bubbles or running down the inflatable or enjoying a hot dog and a cup of lemonade on a hot summer day, right? You really can just find what it is you enjoy about summer at this block party and then throughout the week. And that's kind of our goal.
We got to say, too, all of these events that we are putting on in downtown are free to attend. It costs you nothing to come to the new Nostalgic Block Party and enjoy your Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3 o'clock on Sunday, June the 1st. And not only is this the first ever block party in this fashion, but we have a new Bowling Green band that has never played before as the live entertainment for this specific event. It's going to be that great, easy listening tunes. And we've got Zach Smith and friends. They are all local guys, and they've played all over Bowling Green in different capacities, but they've never played together as a band. So
making their debut.
First time debut at a first time event on Fountain Square.
Love it.
And we should also mention that several downtown businesses around the square will also be open throughout the afternoon for this. You've got Meltdown Ice Cream, Back Down South, Morris Jewelry, Cliffs of Moore, Spencer's, and maybe a few others that'll be open. But there will be some downtown businesses opening their doors, ready to welcome you inside while you're visiting downtown for the afternoon. And as downtown development for the city, I always want to be an advocate for these small local business owners who are putting all of their time and effort into not just their own business and store, but also to bring more vibrancy to downtown. And all these folks love these events that we bring to downtown because chances are someone new that's never been might see them, and even if they don't walk in their front door right away, they'll have a reason to come back to downtown to check them out later. So please come to the first ever Nostalgic Block Party for summer on Fountain Square.
We got to give a shout out to the businesses too, because they're going to participate. It's still being formed. We're still trying to plan out what the game board will look like, but we've got a fun little scavenger hunt-esque activity planned with the downtown businesses where we're bringing the classic game of Candyland to life as you walk around the square. I do know, spoiler alert, but Meltdown is kind of the finish line. And if you complete the game of Candyland with the downtown businesses, you get a free candy topping on your scoop of ice cream that you purchase. So lots of cool things. Again, we, as a staff, I think when we sit around the table and we start planning all these things that we're going to, talk about throughout this podcast, creativity and imagination is kind of what we love to do. We love to think creatively and imagine ourselves things that we would enjoy with our own families and, our own loved ones in these spaces and in these downtown areas. And that's what we're bringing to you guys. We don't plan anything that we wouldn't enjoy participating in ourselves. And so we're just excited to see people kick off the week in Fountain Square and then spend an entire week with us.
Well, and you bring up the fact that these are things that we would want to do. And Fountain Square has been that gathering place since Bowling Green was founded, 200 plus years ago. And a little shameless plug for downtown, all of the traffic signal cabinets around the four corners of Fountain Square just this past couple of weeks got wrapped in historic images of what Fountain Square used to look like over the past 150 years or so. So all of those images of nostalgic Fountain Square really bring to life kind of the before and the after, or the then and the now. And being able to capture some of that historic charm and fun in the Nostalgic Block Party is a lot of fun too. So I had to give a shameless plug for that.
I love it. Isn't that our goal too? Right. We talk about we're getting off on a tangent a little bit, but I think it's worth noting, we talk so much about the growth and, the future rapid growth of our community. We talk BG 2050 and, where is the city of Bowling Green going to be in another 25 years, and where's the county population going to be in 25 years. But I think, when we sit around this table, it's that historic charm, that starts in Fountain Square that we don't want to lose, regardless of how big our community gets. And it's things like this, not just the block party, but Duncan Hines as a whole, and Harvest Fest and Downtown Lights Up and all these things that we plan, year round. I mean, that is our effort to never lose that charm that Fountain Square brings. And so the community can take rest in knowing that we are actively, preserving that historic charm through the things that we plan, because we all love it. So
chef's kiss. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. I guess we should move on to Monday. We've got something literally Sunday to Saturday, so be ready, everyone. Monday, June the 2nd, we've got two new things. Both are free and open to the public. First things first, our friends at the Historic Capitol Theater in downtown on the Square are offering a free movie showing twice of a classic Dolly Parton hit. If you have not seen 9 to 5, it is a great film, and it's going to be shown in the afternoon and the evening for free. Tickets are not required, but if you'd like to go onto the Capitol's website to go ahead and reserve some, you're more than welcome to. And the reason why we have a Dolly Parton movie showing, for those of you all who don't know, Dolly Parton and Duncan Hines have their own baking mix line. They released it a few years ago. It started out as being just cakes and brownies. They were Southern baking mix lines. But now she's moved on to biscuits and muffins as well. And we also have sugar cookies, and I believe some pancake mix are in the works for a Dolly and Duncan line.
There we go.
So we love to bring in a Dolly Parton tie to Duncan Hines Days. So you can catch free movie showings of 9 to 5 at the Capitol, featuring a red carpet entrance if you would like to hop on the trolley beforehand for the evening show. We are calling this the Dolly Trolley because our friends over at the Historic Rail Park and Train Museum that run the Bowling Green trolley tours are offering a, quote, Dolly ride, where you can actually park your car Monday night at the Fringe and then hop on the trolley there. They are encouraging you to at least have a great Dolly attitude and a blonde wig, and filling the trolley with dollies, literally, then doing a quick couple of loops around Fountain Square after they hop on at the Fringe, and being dropped off right in front of the Capitol with a red carpet entrance, making a big deal out of this grand Dolly trolley entrance to the 9 to 5 movie.
Talia,
it should be a spectacle.
Are you getting on the trolley?
I will be present, but I'm not sure if I will be dressed as Dolly.
Jack told me before that he was going to get on the trolley. So
I hope you have a blonde wig and a good attitude, Jack, because that's what it's all about. And there's actually some sign-ups available on the Rail Park and Train Museum's website if you would like to reserve your free seat on the Dolly trolley. But please, at least bring a Dolly attitude with you as you hop on and do a couple of loops and then get to have a grand red carpet entrance into the Capitol on Monday, June 2nd.
I heard that Dolly Parton herself is an avid listener of the TalkBGKY podcast, huge fan. And so I just want to, this is your invite, Dolly, to come to Bowling Green, Kentucky for Duncan Hines Days and just spend the week with us.
Yes, please.
And just celebrate all things cake mixes, recreation, and you in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
And, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library
Absolutely
is an amazing, amazing program. And I'm sure our friends at the Warren County Public Library that are partners with us in these Duncan Hines Days activities would love to show you around to their Warren County Public Library facilities too, Dolly. So
shout out
come.
to the Imagination Library. That is a great program.
Yes.
My son Beckett's a subscriber, so love it.
And oddly enough, a person from Montana actually called me here a couple of months ago and said that they work for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library in a small town called Hamilton, Montana, and they found our Duncan Hines Days website and wanted to know how to get in touch with our Dolly Parton impersonator that comes every couple of years, because they would like for her to come to their Montana Imagination Library and do an event this summer.
How about that?
So Duncan Hines Days making waves all the way to the American West.
In Montana.
Isn't that cool, though?
That's
Isn't that
awesome.
cool, though?
No,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah.
We're doing good things. And once again, both of these things on Monday, June 2nd, the movie showing and the Dolly Trolley ride are free and completely accessible to the public. Now, moving on here, we've got Tuesday, June the 3rd. We have a Pickleball Palooza event coming up at Roland Bland Park here in downtown. Cameron, what can you tell us about Pickleball Palooza?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that there is a hotter trend in the world of parks and recreation that has lasted for as long as a trend ever has in our industry as pickleball. Pickleball is everything you hear about. It's everything, people are participating in. It's everything that people love, and rightfully so. Just talking about pickleball as a sport, it is something for everyone. It is a sport that you can learn at any age. It's fun for everybody, no matter what your age or ability is. And so we joke all the time about how big of a trend pickleball is, but the reason it's a trend is just because of how accessible it is to everybody to learn and play. And so we're just, we're tapping into that with this Pickleball Palooza. This will be the second year that we've offered this event. It very much is for everyone in the community because there are aspects of it that anybody can kind of jump in and play. So there's a clinic aspect to this where if you've never picked up a pickleball paddle before in your life, you can still come to this event. And we're going to have people teaching you the game of pickleball, all the rules, all the ins and outs, how to, get better and how to learn the sport. But then it's really just a social. We will have all these courts open. We've got 6 courts down at Roland Bland Park in downtown Bowling Green. And those 6 courts will be open for a social style pickleball event where you just jump in and play with everybody who shows up and make new friends, make new connections. And again, just celebrate, being in some of our spaces and some of our parks and all the, wonderful amenities that we have here in Bowling Green and just enjoy being together and celebrating Duncan Hines Week. So it's going to be a fun event. It was very well attended last year. Had to move it indoors, just because of the weather. So hopefully we have sunshine and all that good stuff this year so that we can be outdoors. Just looking forward to people playing the game of pickleball.
Big props to our friends over at Warren County Parks and Rec
That's right.
as well. They have put a lot into planning this with local pickleballers, and they are our rain location once again.
That's right.
If it rains, we'll be playing pickleball out at Ephraim White Park instead of downtown at Roland Bland Park. So Thank you all over at County Parks. Leah Sperlin and Ryan Patty have been really big time in planning Duncan Hines Days for us. So kudos to you all. And they were so busy they couldn't even be here today to talk about it. So You know what I'm saying?
It is almost summer, which is a busy time for the world of Parks and Rec. So, yeah.
Well, and speaking of another fun outdoor event, something new is coming on Tuesday, June 3rd in the evening in downtown Bowling Green. Our friends over at Bike Walk Bowling Green with the City County Planning Commission, they do community bike rides downtown several times a year, and they love to theme them around different holidays and events. Most recently, they had a St. Patrick's Day ride in March. They have a holiday ride in December and a Halloween ride in October. So this year, for the first time, they are doing a Duncan Hines themed community bike ride and dine. They're adding the dine to it, the ride and dine, because the event starts and ends at Mellow Mushroom in downtown Bowling Green.
You have to add the dine.
You have
Duncan
to add
Hines.
the dine in Duncan Hines. Well, and they make this a very simple, easy ride that's appropriate for people of all ages and the whole family. It's safe. It's downtown. They meet at about 6:15 at Mellow Mushroom's parking lot. They go for a ride that lasts about 45 minutes, and then they end once again on a loop at Mellow Mushroom. And Bob Holderfield over at Mellow is offering a special Duncan Hines themed pizza that's like a hot brown pizza for this week as part of celebrating all of our local restaurants and things that Duncan might recommend.
A
Have
hot
you eaten
brown
there?
pizza.
Yes.
Have you had it? I didn't get to eat it.
I have not had it, but
Man.
the hot brown is a Kentucky staple. It was created here in Kentucky in Louisville at the Brown Hotel. So Bob Holderfield thinks that Duncan Hines would have definitely recommended it in his travel books and in his eating books. So
Awesome.
You go for your bike ride and burn the calories, and then you eat
That's
them
right.
back when you get to Mellow Mushroom. He's blocking off the entire outdoor patio
Love it.
for everyone that's part of this community bike ride and dine event. And our friends over at West 6 Brewing are also partnering with us with this. They are giving away a portion of the proceeds of all their beer sales for that night to our City of Bowling Green Better BGKY nonprofit that actually helps fund all of these community events that we get to put on throughout the year, and also acts as a way to fundraise for Parks and Rec too.
Absolutely.
So thank you to West 6, thank you to Mellow Mushroom, and thank you to Bike Walk Bowling Green for creating a new community bike ride and dine coming Tuesday, June the 3rd in the evening in downtown Bowling Green.
I'm thinking we need an episode of these podcasts is live with TalkBGKY trying all these food specials.
That is a brilliant idea. Let's do that. Let's put
Put
that
it down,
down.
Jack.
2026.
There we go.
Put that down. We can move on right along. On Wednesday, June the 4th, there's some special stuff coming to the Russell Sims Aquatic Center. So, Cameron, what is happening over there?
Yeah. Well, last year was the first year that we, just had a theme day out at the Russell Sims Aquatic Center. If you're not familiar and you're listening to this podcast with the Russell Sims Aquatic Center, of course, that is our aquatic experience that we have in Preston Miller Park over on Tomlinson Way. It's going to be our 26th season coming up this summer. So the water park, as many people refer to it as simply, has been a staple in our community for a long time. It's one of the places that people like to spend the most in the summer for sunslides and smiles. And we just love Parks and Rec as a whole, just love getting to, welcome our community out there every summer. And so as part of Duncan Hines Days, last year we decided to just do a theme day out at the water park. So really what that looks like is it's pretty passive. We do some activities on the pool deck. We plan on doing a cannonball competition this coming year as part of Duncan Hines Days, which we're excited about. We're tossing around the idea of doing with our wonderful police department cannonballs with a cop this coming summer, which would be fantastic. Maybe we'll have to premiere that as part of Duncan Hines Days at the water park. We've got concession specials. So last year we had a special pizza that we offered that day, to be determined on what that looks like. I don't know that we can pull off a hot brown pizza, but we'll come up with something special. We did some ice cream sundaes or cookie sundaes, just fun concession specials. And then we threw a bunch of rubber ducks in the pool and just had a lot of fun with it. I do have to say, I've told this story to a lot of people, but it honestly was one of the funniest things I've ever experienced in my career. But last year's event was supposed to be on a Tuesday, and I went, WNKY, shout out to one of our local TV stations, who love promoting local. So they showed up at the water park and we're going to go live for Duncan Hines Days at Russell Sims. And they stayed committed to that live feed. And I went live on the air telling people to come to the water park with a huge black cloud behind me and a big old thunderstorm. That was an interesting moment in my career, and we rescheduled that day. The true Parks and Recreation moment, without a doubt. And so hopefully we have good weather this summer. Again, we love welcoming people out to the water park for everything we have to offer. And so just looking forward to celebrating Duncan Hines Days with a dose of sunslides and smiles.
The water park does amazing theme days, by the way. I have to give a thank you to Cameron for coming up with these Christmas in July or the Nights in Neverland, just all of these fun.
Mermaids, pirates, and pixie dust.
Yes. Well, it's stuff that the kids and families absolutely love. And you bringing all of these things to life really encourages people to continue coming back to the water park. Don't just visit one time.
That's right.
Get a season pass.
Make it
a point to take the family out to these events and enjoy these city amenities, because the Russell Sims Park is a great place to take visitors as well. If you've got family coming in and are looking for a place to cool off, that's a great way to do it. So just thank you to Cameron for all you've done for the water park.
Again, just plugging everything that we do, right? Because, I like to sum up Duncan Hines Days, the water park, any Parks and Rec program that we offer. It truly is, our opportunity to love our community well, and that's really what it is. Everything that we do is a labor of love, and we just want Bowling Green to be a fantastic place to live, work, and play. And so every single day we come to work and put effort towards, making that a reality for the people that call this place home and the people that visit. We want them to feel what is special about Bowling Green and Warren County. And so whether it's Duncan Hines Days, the water park, we put a dose of love and passion into it and hope people enjoy what we offer. So
it's community development at its finest.
Absolutely.
Rolling right along. Haha, you like that? Coming Thursday, June the 5th, is our kind of weekend kickoff for all the things happening in downtown. We've got a lot of your favorite things returning from the past couple of years, but we do have some new routes, new locations, new things to kind of talk through for how they've taken a little bit of a new shape this year. The Recreation Committee has done a killer job with these, and I know that you are all going to have a great time. So coming Thursday evening, June the 5th, we've got technically 4 back-to-back-to-back-to-back events, and we want you
Busy
to come
day.
for all of them and spend your entire evening downtown with your whole family. And there truly is something for all ages here, and 3 of the 4 are absolutely free to attend. So first things first, the Fountain Square Vintage Car Show is returning at 4 o'clock on that Thursday, June the 5th in the evening. This is a free to attend car show. We'll have all 4 sides of Fountain Square closed and full of really cool classic automobiles. Some may even be old enough that Duncan himself may have driven 1 or 2 of them. Duncan didn't even get his driver's license till he was in his late 30s, because that's when the car was invented back in his days. But shout out to all the folks at Cruisin' for a Cure as they help organize and promote this vintage car show coming at 4 o'clock. And while you are in downtown, stay on Fountain Square if you would like to be a spectator, or walk on down to the intersection of State and 8th for Uncle Duncan's famous summer stroll and roll parade. This is not your typical parade. This is a walking or bicycling or roller skating, rollerblading parade. There's no motors in it. This is hosted through the Bike Walk Bowling Green folks, and Warren County Parks and Rec has played a big role in this as well. It is completely free. The very first year we had maybe 75 walkers or so, but in year 2 we doubled that. And Cameron, tell them what you have done to really kaboom it for year 3.
Yeah, it's funny, the inspiration when all of us a few years ago kind of got together as a rec committee and thought of this idea. Inspiration for me and providing input to the conversation was growing up in Louisville in the Highlands neighborhood. We had some friends that lived over there, and there was always a huge 4th of July parade through the neighborhood. So you would decorate your bike or your scooter and ride through the hills of the neighborhood and then end up at somebody's house, and there was a huge cookout for the entire neighborhood. And so just kind of capturing those feelings and those memories and bringing those to downtown Bowling Green has kind of been a goal for this parade from day one. And as Talia mentioned, it's grown each year, but this year we anticipate and are hoping, fingers crossed, that it works out, that we have our biggest participation number ever in the parade, which then leads to big time participation from spectators. We want the streets to be filled. And so we're excited to, one aspect of this that we're hoping makes it grow is all of our summer sports leagues at Bowling Green Parks and Rec. So softball, t-ball, baseball, all kind of wrap up right about this time. And so what they're going to do with their schedule is clear the games for that night and make this the end of the year celebration. And so all 21, give or take, teams we have through those leagues are going to participate in this parade, walk through it with their uniforms on, representing their teams, whether it's classic MLB team that you get to represent in Little League, or I even think we have some minor league team names, which is kind of fun. And so they're going to walk through with their uniforms and represent their team that they played on in our league. And that's kind of what we want, for this is that classic, youth sport presence that is so much a part of everybody's summer. If you have kids, you spend so much time at the ballpark, and giving them a chance to walk through downtown and celebrate their season and all of their accomplishments. We really like to, one of the things I like to say with the park is we want people to create memories that last a lifetime in the park. So they do that on the ball field, throughout those seasons, right? There's going to be kids that walk in that parade that had their first hit ever. Maybe they made their first out ever. Maybe they hit their first home run ever. Maybe they, got on base for the first time ever. And so that was a huge milestone for them. And they're going to be able to walk through downtown proudly, thinking that we're all there to celebrate that. And we will be, which is going to be really cool. And so it just creates this small town historic charm, like we've talked about, that is so quintessential summer in Fountain Square. And then, of course, ends with what Talia is going to talk about next with a ice cream celebration. So,
well, there's nothing that screams summer more than a community ice cream social.
That's right.
And the ice cream social is returning for year 3. However, it's got a new format, new look, and new location. With the stroll and roll and parade that Cameron just talked about, that route has been altered slightly. So it's going to start on State Street and go the wrong way up to the square. Your walkers are going to walk down one part of the square, and your rollers are going to roll down the other side of the square. And they're going going to come back and go down College Street the wrong way. And we're going to end actually right in front of the Bowling Green Ballpark on the Bowling Green Plaza. This is the new location for the ice cream social. There will be about half a dozen ice cream trucks and dessert trucks either on that ballpark plaza area or in that block between Kentucky and Center Street, which will be blocked off. So as our walkers and rollers are finishing up the parade, they will literally walk right into the ice cream mecca so they can grab a snack. And of course, everyone that's at the Fountain Square Car Show, all the spectators are more than welcome to come down to the ice cream social as well. That'll start probably around 6 o'clock when the parade ends. But that is also the night that the Bowling Green Hot Rods are in town.
Love it.
They are playing baseball. The doors open at 5:30 and the first pitch is at 6:35. They are theming the entire game around Duncan Hines Days for us. So they will be having special Duncan Hines cake mix giveaways for everyone who makes it through the door. They'll also have some Duncan Hines trivia and games throughout the night inside the ballpark. And that is the only piece of the evening that you have to pay to actually attend the event. However, they have a discount for all of us who are part of Duncan Hines Days. If you buy your ticket online, you can get it for $10 instead of the $12 or $15. So you get a nice little discount and you use promo code DHD on the Hot Rod site to purchase them. And you can come start your evening at the car show on Fountain Square, take part or spectate the parade, head down to the ice cream social and grab yourself something to eat, but then head into the ballpark and spend the rest of your night enjoying America's favorite pastime. You can't get more Americana than all of that.
I mean, you paint that picture, right? I mean, you're literally, there's your local Little League softball, t-ball, baseball kids, local school groups, other sports, programs like the roller derby group that always participates in the parade, walking through a historic Fountain Square Park with classic cars,
yes,
headed towards a community
yes,
ice cream social,
yes,
and then enjoying a minor league baseball game. I mean,
well, there is more. There is more. I didn't mention that after the parade is over, when the ice cream social begins, the trolley will actually be doing free hop-on, hop-off tours with a Duncan on the inside, telling Duncan's story about Bowling Green. It's a very short, brief tour. They do a loop that starts at the ballpark and goes around the Fountain Square, Circus Square area and comes back, and you get dropped off again. It's free. They'll be doing that for a couple of hours into the evening, but it is free to hop on and hop off the trolley during the ice cream social. And we'll also have some other community partners and nonprofits set up. Like if you are participating at the duck paddle event, you'll be able to pick that packet up there. Warren County Parks and Rec's Rec on the Run folks are going to have the free yard games for you to play on the ballpark plaza with the family and kids while you're enjoying your ice cream. And our friends over at SkyPack are doing something new. They are bringing some of the cast from the Wizard of Oz musical they're putting on later this summer to do some pop-up music numbers throughout the ice cream social at some random times.
There you go.
So, but I mean, Wizard of Oz, how Americana is that?
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
What a
Right?
night. I mean, what a night. I mean, yeah, if you are not in downtown Bowling Green on Thursday, June 5th, I don't know where you are.
We will also have mascots galore once again attending this event. So if your children like mascots and you love to take pictures and interact with them, Big Red will be there with WKU Athletics.
And before anybody says anything, the parade is a non-motorized parade, but we have made an exception for Big Red
to be in a cart.
To be in a golf cart. But that is because he works really hard. And so we had to make an accommodation for Big Red because we want him there, but we don't want him to be too exhausted.
Right,
So, yeah.
right. And of course, our own pal Duncan, who is our Duncan Hines Days mascot, will be there in full force, dressed in the apron, ready to cook, ready to eat as always. And we also have our friends from Service One Credit Union, Sky CTC, Stuff the Bus, and I believe we've got Tommy the Turtle from city stormwater, and there's no telling what other mascots may indeed show up. I know we've put out a call to all mascots, but those are all of the ones that will be there for the Thursday, June 5th evening. So it's going to be a really wonderful, pleasant evening in downtown, 100%. We can keep on rolling to Friday, June the 6th. We have 3 more new things coming, and they are all in downtown Bowling Green. The first thing is once again a Bike Walk Bowling Green event. Every Friday, they have a walking club. They meet at noon on Fountain Square and invite anyone to come outside for their lunch break and take a walk and enjoy the beauty of downtown and get some exercise. So this Friday walk will actually be a cakewalk where they want you to burn the calories and get some exercise, but you're going to get some free Duncan Hines baking mix if you participate in the Friday Cakewalk Club at noon with Bike Walk Bowling Green in Fountain Square Park. So meet there at noon for that. And later on in Fountain Square, the Fountain Row Friday live music series will be going on. Now, this is not a specifically Duncan Hines event. However, that night there will be cake mixes available for those who want to come check out live music on the square, but take something away. Our friends over at Blue Level Productions put on these free live concerts on the square. They have a new spring series going on right now. This is the first time we've had live music in springtime on Fountain Square in over 12 years. And these are all local artists and musicians. So from 4:30 to 7 on Fountain Square, you can enjoy some free live music and get your free baking mixes while supplies last. And while you're at it, enjoy a little bit of live music on the square, but if it's hot and you want to cool off, go inside to the Historic Capitol Theater to take in a free Dolly Parton tribute concert that our Natasha Neely impersonator of Dolly Parton is putting on. Now, she did not do this show at the Capitol last year. She did a Capitol show in the first year for us, but this is a new band, new show, some new material, and she is really looking forward to coming back to the Capitol to perform this year. So you can get your free tickets online on the Capitol's website for that Dolly Parton tribute concert anytime, or you can just walk in straight off Fountain Square. And of course, we encourage you to grab a drink and enjoy your Fountain Row amenities where the adults can have their beverages, walking around, carrying them to go. We also encourage you to eat dinner downtown while you're there at any of those excellent Fountain Square area restaurants, or even check out some of the new ones that we have too. Down across from the Coomer Little Parks and Rec Center, there are Danny's Pasta and Empanadas Bowling Green, the 2 latest, newest restaurants open in downtown that are small, locally owned businesses too. So you could also check them out if you wanted to take a little bit of a walk to burn off those calories that you're going to eat when you make that cake that you got your cake mix from earlier in the evening. So all of those things going on Friday all around the Fountain Square area. And that leads us into our final day of Duncan Hines Days, Saturday, June the 7th, the return of the 2 biggest events, really, in their own right, for one recreation style event and one more arts and entertainment event. So, Cameron, what can you tell us about the 3rd annual Duncan's Duck Paddle Race and Regatta?
Yeah, super cool event that, we started a few years ago. Tony Allison, Drake's Creek Canoe, is a huge help, in helping us coordinate this event. And of course, Andrea Strange and her team and co-workers over with Warren County Stormwater, Warren County Parks and Recreation, with the Recreation Committee to pull off the duck paddle, canoe and kayak race and regatta. Just a lot of fun. We, as a whole, Bowling Green and this region, really is such an outdoor recreation destination. We're so close to Mammoth Cave National Park. We have so many wonderful parks here in our community, so many great blueways and waterways that people can enjoy being on any good weather day. And so this is just an opportunity for us to continue trying to create this destination of outdoor recreation for our community and bring people in from all across the region, from other states, to enjoy an event like this. And so, this year we had some historic flooding a few weeks ago that Yeah, I mean, really hit our community hard. And so the first year we hosted the event down on Barren River, starting in what is now our riverfront park, pretty undeveloped. And it finished at Boat Landing Park, was a great event. People really enjoyed it. Last year's water levels were a little off, and so we had to move that race to Drake's Creek and go from Romanza Johnson to Fillmore Park. Again, people still loved it, but our waterways, outdoor recreation is phenomenal, but it's also super unpredictable. So having to do some changes again to the route this year that are still officially to be determined. But rest assured that, like I mentioned, the staff involved with planning this event are very knowledgeable and experienced with our local waterways and coming up with a route that will be, most effective and beneficial and ultimately fun for the people participating in this race. So the flooding caused some damage at Romanza Johnson Park that prevents us from using Drake's Creek this year, but they are, like I said, coming up with a route that will still be really fun for those participating. And again, you for the third year in a row, you get to experience a new waterway route that is going to be just as fun as all the other ones. And eventually we're super excited to, bring this event down consistently year after year, water levels and things pending, to our new riverfront park development that we'll start to see some movement in the coming years and in the coming months. And so just excited for, this duck paddle to be a staple event for Duncan Hines Days and everything that we're doing, and look forward to people participating.
And I have been assured that the route this year will be scenic. It will be appropriate for all ages, so do not feel the pressure of the race and regatta part. You can do it at your leisure. And I've also been told that it might be just a different version of a Drake's Creek route.
There we go.
So,
Love
yes.
Love it. Fun regardless.
Yes, and thank you again to all of those staff that put this event together. Last year, they literally turned the entire location around in 48 hours. And that included all the volunteer fire departments that helped out too. Yep. So they will be probably doing the same thing again this year, given it'll be somewhere out in the county instead of at Riverfront.
It's important for us to note too, we're building the foundation for these outdoor recreation type of events when, here in 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to have some infrastructure in our park, specifically down at Riverfront, that the city is working on and has gotten funding for, that is going to be pretty unique to this area. Talia, correct me if I'm wrong, but within like a 5-hour radius of Bowling Green, the Whitewater Park development, starting this event now, this duck paddle race and regatta will only make the implementation of that Whitewater Park even more fruitful for our community, because we're going to be able to use that to expand what we're doing with this race and regatta and do some really cool outdoor recreation events and programs, which is really cool.
Well, and like you said, within a 5-hour radius, it's like 9 million people that are within that area. But there is nothing within like a 5-hour drive of Bowling Green that has any kind of whitewater facility that's similar to what this is going to be. So it will attract the water enthusiasts and adventurers from all around that drivable area and drive market. So
it's going to be pretty cool.
Really looking forward to that, and looking forward to the return of the duck paddle. You can register online on the Duncan Hines Days website for that, or on Eventbrite if you just search Duncan's Duck Paddle. The tickets are available there, and the pricing goes up the closer we get to the race. So right now we are at a little bit of a cheaper price than it will be starting June the 1st. So go ahead and get your tickets now before the price goes up. And the next and kind of final thing for Duncan Hines Days is also on June 7th, only in the afternoon and evening. It is the 3rd annual Eats and Beats Music Fest at Circus Square Park, right in the middle of downtown Bowling Green. This is a mix of a music fest, a little bit of an art fest, and definitely a food fest as well. We've got a smashing lineup of bands that are pretty much all local Kentuckians and musicians that are really bringing a diverse kind of group of genres that you're going to experience. The Bowling Green Rock Band Academy kids are going to be opening up the event as they have the past couple of years. These are some of the best students that are our young musicians, the next generation, and this is the biggest stage that they have really had the opportunity to perform on to date. So we're going to look forward to opening the event at 3 o'clock with the Rock Band Academy kids. And then we will have the Lowland Ramblers take the stage. They are from the Owensboro area, so we expect some Owensboro folks that are following them there to come visit us and check them out here. Look them up on Instagram, the Lowland Ramblers. Then we have Hoodost. They are actually dropping a new album June the 6th, the day before. Like, they are treating the Eats and Beats Music Fest as if this is their launch party for an album, and they haven't dropped an album in a couple of years. This is really exciting for them and their first live performance for the new album to promote the new songs. So you may hear some things that you've never heard before from them if you're a Hoodost fan. Then, of course, we have the return for year 3, Bowling Green's own Government Cheese. They are such a fun, kind of grungy rock band from the 90s that really just enjoyed the WKU and downtown atmosphere. Almost all of their songs are titled around Bowling Green landmarks, Bowling Green things, and they have a song called Come On Back to Bowling Green. But what's really special for them this year is that it's their 40th anniversary. So we're kind of throwing them a big anniversary party here at Duncan Hines Days. They've got friends flying in from as far as Washington State and Oregon coming in to celebrate their 40th anniversary. And Government Cheese has songs about Bowling Green. So pay attention more to the lyrics, and you may catch some references to WKU or the Water Tower or some places in downtown that aren't even around anymore.
That's awesome.
So yeah, 40th anniversary of Government Cheese. Congratulations. And our headliner is Bowling Green's own the Josephines. They have been playing all over Kentucky and the Southeast for the past couple of years. They've really taken off, and they even have a song with Sam Bush, who was our headliner at last year's Duncan Hines Days, that's got a real newgrass rockabilly vibe to it. And the Josephines music is also really focused around Bowling Green. They played at the iconic, legendary Tidballs for their final Tidballs concert night performance here a couple of weeks ago. Tidballs will be known forever as a legendary Bowling Green dive bar that jump-started Cage the Elephant and Government Cheese and the Josephines and. So the Josephines are our headliner, and we expect a lot of good food and good entertainment at this event. We'll have over 20 food trucks scattered around Circus Square Park area, and we'll also have a really fun community mural kind of stationed in the back of Circus Square. So you and the kids can actually paint on this community art mural yourselves. It's just like washable watercolor paint. Don't worry, we're not going to stain your clothes. We're not going to get the kids all that messy, but it's a chance for you and the family and your friends to be part of a piece of art in downtown Bowling Green for the festival. And it's a great way to celebrate community as well. So come down to the Eats and Beats Music Fest at Circus Square Park. It runs from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock that evening. There is also a Orchestra Kentucky show going on at Skypack right next door. It is themed on guitar heroes of all kinds of legendary rock and rollers. So there will be a little bit of traffic downtown for that. And the Hot Rods are also in town for Saturday night, too. So they will be playing a Saturday evening game at the ballpark. There will be traffic for that. So in a way to help you better navigate the downtown parking experience and scene, not only do we have our free public parking map that now also includes all handicap accessibility spots around the downtown footprint, but we also have free parking available thanks to WKU's parking and transportation team. You can actually park your car on campus at Parking Structure 1, the Kentucky Street lot, or Adams Street lot, and there is a shuttle that will run that evening from about 6 to 10 that you can hop on on campus and hop off right at the Fringe in downtown Bowling Green and walk half a block down to Circus Square Park, or walk to the ballpark, or walk to SkyPack if you don't want to brave parking downtown for that. We do not tow in any of our free public lots downtown, and you will not get towed from campus if you park in those designated lots those days. And there will be signage out at all of these lots that will let you know that it is special event parking and that you can park there. So thank you to WKU and their parking and transportation team for not only helping us at Duncan Hines Days create an easier parking navigation experience, but also offering it to anyone that's coming to the downtown area for any of those other events that evening as well. And all of our venues like SkyPack and the ballpark and the Capitol too also share that parking information with their patrons. So trying to really help just create resources that make downtown easier to navigate and easier to not only get around but be accessible to. So that is all of the major events for Duncan Hines Days. There are a few things going on all week that I do want to mention. Our friends over at the Historic Rail Park and Train Museum have Duncan-themed tours, not just during this week, but for the entire month of June. They are dedicating June to Duncan. All of their railcar tours have special Duncanness to them throughout the entire month of June, and you can get your free baking mix at the Rail Park and Train Museum as well. The National Corvette Museum has once again put together a fun scavenger hunt within the museum. It's kind of like a mini Duncan road trip around the museum, if you will. If you complete the scavenger hunt, then you earn your free baking mix there. You got to work for it, but you can. And down in Logan County, our friends over at South Union Shaker Village are offering free baking mix for every ticket that anyone purchases during the entire week of Duncan Hines Days. Duncan was a big road tripper, so we encourage you to also check out some of the attractions around Southern Kentucky and not just Bowling Green. If you're coming in from out of town, or if you've got friends coming in to visit, check out other things going on around the area as well for that week. And also, Riverview at Hobson Grove is offering free baking mix to anyone taking its tours. And Hobson Grove sits right in the middle of Bowling Green's Hobson Grove Park. The Friends of Riverview operate the house itself, but the city takes care of all of the outside maintenance and maintains that beautiful, beautiful historic museum house and property. And of course, we cannot forget, this is also a celebration of food, and Restaurant Week is still a thing. We've got over 20 restaurants featured on the Duncan Hines Days website. They're a mix of sit-down restaurants, some fast food restaurants, and some food trucks. We encourage you to be like Duncan and try all the things and let us know what you would recommend. And we think that Duncan would recommend all of these, and some of these restaurants are featured in surrounding counties as well, like Harper's Catfish, for instance, Rusty's Lakeside Pub, for instance, Paradise Point, for instance.
Rusty's Lakeside Pub. I just went there this past weekend, me and my family, and it was fantastic.
Is that the first time you've been?
First time.
Isn't it great?
It's
yes.
amazing.
These are in Barron County, just off Barron River Lake, Rusty's Lakeside Pub and Paradise Point, owned by the Erskine family. Amazing, amazing food and atmosphere and ambiance, and definitely a spot that Duncan would have stopped had he been on his travels of 31. So,
absolutely.
Yes, please go to DuncanHinesDays.com, explore your Restaurant Week options, explore all of the events that are happening throughout the week, and make a plan to hit a couple of them. We know you're not going to do all 15 of them, but at least make a plan to come downtown at some point, come to one or two of the recreation events, and bring your family, your friends, invite your friends from out of town to come visit and make this a good time, and really just celebrate Bowling Green and how great of a place it is to live through its culinary adventure and entertainment, and but let's make this the best Duncan Hines Days ever. It's year 3. Anything else, Cameron? What am I forgetting?
No, gosh, I don't know if we could ever add anything else. I mean, it's such a packed week, but we do that on purpose because, like you said, we want something for everybody. And so just find what it is you're interested in, check them all out. And Talia, said it perfectly that, we really just want our community to just enjoy the place that they call home. And ultimately, these events will help you do that. Bowling Green and Warren County is just such a fantastic place to live. It truly is. We are blessed just to have the amenities, the parks, the spaces that we do, and just such a dedicated group of people that are trying to bring those things to life and make them more enjoyable. And we look forward to seeing how many people smile during Duncan Hines Days week, because it's going to be a week packed full of fun and just entertainment and enjoyment, a great kickoff to the summer. So,
and thank you to all the support the city of Bowling Green puts into this, all the support that Warren County government puts into this. Behind the scenes, it takes hundreds of people to put these events together. All of our partners at all the attractions, our sponsors who would help us invest in this to make it bigger and bigger each year. And we could not do it if these people didn't love the community just as much as we do. So all of our sponsors are listed on the Duncan Hines Days website. Thanks to all of you. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We are Duncan Hines Days on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Thanks to everyone who tuned in to this TalkBGKY podcast. And we hope that you all will tune in for our next one. And we look forward to seeing you all at Duncan Hines Days.